Hey guys, New Age Muscle here for another video. It's been a while, and you may be used to seeing some of my previous videos on this guy over here. However, today we're going to be taking a look at my 1990 Mustang GT. What we're going to do is take a look at how do I remove the driver's side and passenger side mirror if I want to replace it or possibly just do a very quick restoration project and repaint it. In my case, that's what I'm going to be doing, is just restoring what's already there. I'm going to throw some paint on this to make it look a lot better. As you can see, it has a kind of oxidized or weathered look to it. I bought some pretty much an OEM type paint to kind of restore it, which is what I've already done here. You can see on the wipers and also on the vent you see off the hood. So, first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to remove this molding right here. And it's very easily done. It's held on by one Phillips head screw. So let's start off by doing that. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my Phillips head screwdriver, open my door, and once I open the door, what you're going to notice is you have one Phillips head screw located right here. So start off by removing that. And I'm just going to hit pause right now and take care of it. Okay, screws removed. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to kind of just get to the outer side of the door here. And I'm going to do this in real time, just in case I run into any problems. You can see what you may experience. So I can't necessarily guarantee this is going to go 100% smooth. So what I'm going to do here is you can try and grab it from this end. I'm going to try and grab it from over here because there's kind of like a little notch I can get my fingernail into. And just try and slide it back. And I just put these new ones on the other day, so hopefully they come off fairly easy. So let me try and do this. I'm just going to set the phone down for a minute and see what I can do. So stand by. Okay guys, that was fairly easy. Literally as soon as I set the phone down, I basically took my nail and put it right in front of the molding there, and I was able to take it and slide it back. And you'll kind of get an idea of the play I have here. Now this is actually, just so you guys know, this is an aftermarket molding from LMR, late model restoration, but it's very, very similar to the molding you would have from the factory. So all you're going to need to do is slide it back, and once I slide it back, you don't actually have to take it as far as I just did, but you'll see it lifts off. You can see there's a few different notches here along the way, and they basically just set right in to these plastic little button heads here that are riveted on. Okay, so those have to be off, I should say, because if you don't take them off, you're not going to be able to remove the mirror, because there's actually a little notch there. You can kind of see it from this angle that slides into the end of this molding. So if this is not removed, it's not going to go anywhere. So what I would recommend to do is just set this aside right now so you don't step on it, because if I don't set mine aside, I will definitely step on it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the door and just open it up here. And what you're going to find here, let me bring my light over here, is you have a little trim piece here. And I don't know what the technical name for that is, but that little trim piece is held on by just one Phillips head screw. So I'm going to remove that right now. I'm going to hit pause, so stand by. Okay, so one Phillips head screw, and this thing popped right off. Now this, again, this is also a replacement piece from LMR. So, I just dropped my screw almost. But it's almost identical to the original. So whether you have the OEM one or this one, they go on and off the same exact way. Now just to take a look at what lies behind, let me bring my light over here. And what you're going to see in here is a couple of nuts. And I'll just make sure I can get those in the view here. Now I'm not exactly sure what size those are. From what I've been told, they are 9mm. I'm going to give it a shot, see what size they are, and we'll go from there. So stand by, because like I said, I'm doing this in real time. So if I run into a problem, I'm going to let you guys know along the way. Okay, guys, good news. These were 9mm nuts to remove the mirror. And the good thing is, you do not need to remove the inner door panel. However, at this point, what I found out is it looks like you're actually going to have to remove the inner door panel to unplug the harness. So I'm going to play around with this for a second and see if that's the case. If it is the case, I'm going to come back to you and I will show you guys how to disconnect it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take off this whole entire door panel, which is not that big of a task. However, I was hoping it'd be a little bit easier than that. So stand by for a minute and let me see what I can come up with, and I'll give you the info you need. Okay, bad news, guys. So, from what I'm seeing, you're going to have to remove your inner door trim panel. Now, if you've never done this, it's not really that big of a task. There's not that much hardware that you have to remove. What you're looking at is you basically have a Phillips head screw right here by the door handle. You also have one here right by the speaker, and then you have a couple of bolts right behind these little I guess you could say beauty covers, whatever you want, that actually hold on the door handle themselves. And then behind the door, you have yourself, I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe you have about 11 fir trees. And what a fir tree is really nothing more than a little push pin to basically hold the panel on. And with that, let me see, I think I have it right over here so I can show you. So just stand by for a minute. Here we go. Here's one of mine, but here's what you need. Something like this. Actually, this one I ordered right from LMR. And what it allows you to do is just kind of get behind the door and just kind of pry up on it. Allows you to remove it without breaking the trees. Once you have all of that off, all of them, you basically just, there's kind of a little, this kind of like hooks onto the inner seam of the sheet metal here. Now, it's not really that big of a deal because what you're going to notice is all of those fir trees that actually attach the door, the trim piece to the door, all reside on the perimeter right along here, right under the mat pocket and right up the back side of the door here. So it's going to come off really easy. There is one harness that you have to unplug for your windows and your locks, but that's really very easy. But you do want to be careful with that. These cars are typically roughly about, let's face it, somewhere around 30 years old now, give or take. So a lot of this plastic's become very brittle. So just be very careful. Try and take maybe a small flathead screwdriver and try and pry up on it, and then you can separate any of the electrical tabs you need to. So stand by, and I'm going to kind of move on and just pop this thing off. It should only take a couple minutes. Okay, guys, back to the disassembling process. What I found here is, I actually forgot to mention, there is a Phillips head screw located right here, actually on the armrest, and also one up front. I can't remember if those are necessary to be removed or not for this process, because I actually just had this door panel off to replace the actual mat pocket. What I do know for sure is you do need to remove these little beauty caps. So these just really just slide in here, just like so. And you can use a flathead screwdriver, just something that's not going to mar it up. Just be kind of careful when you do it. But other than that, what I've found is these are just 3/8 socket set. If you got a socket, maybe there's a metric that will work also. I don't know. I'm just going with the 3/8 right now. So I'm going to try and just take those two off without removing this Phillips. or the Phillips up here and just see what happens if I can take it off and just disconnect the harness. So I'll let you know, so stand by. Okay, good news. It looks like you do not need to remove the Phillips located on the rear and the front of the door rest. And the reason I say it is because you can see after I have the fir trees removed, you can see that whole panel is kind of moving freely. So I should be able to just kind of lift it out now. So let me just pause the video here. And when I get this lifted off and the harness disconnected, I'll start recording again. I'm going to try and record while I do the harness. I just don't know how easy this is going to be with just one person here. Okay, so I have the door unhooked, and you can see there's kind of like a little flange there that the trim piece kind of sets on. But if you take a look down here, you can see there are your two harnesses. So I'm just going to carefully disconnect these, and once I do, I'll move this door aside and we'll kind of get moving on right onto the harness for the mirror right over here. Okay, got the door panel off, and I'm just going to set this back for a second so you guys can see. As I said, I'm doing this in real time. And between pauses here, there's literally no more than probably 2 minutes. So what I did at this point, after removing the fir trees and the bolts that were in the armrest, what you're going to see, these are the two harnesses for the locks and the power windows. Just got to be careful, like I said, when you remove them. I actually, this time actually did break one of the tabs off, but it wasn't that big of a deal. There are 12 little fir trees, and if you don't know what a fir tree is, let me just take one off here so you can see. And I almost would recommend that if you are taking your panel off, take a look, because a lot of times these things get kind of beat up. We don't always know the history of our vehicle, and sometimes people just rip these door panels off, and when they do, they completely annihilate these things or sometimes lose them, and they're not really that concerned with putting them back. But for the whole kit, for both sides, you get, I think you actually get 26 of them. I want to say it was only $10 or something like that. So I'd recommend getting them. You can see how easy they go in. Okay, I'll demonstrate it for you. Put the fir tree in the larger hole and then just slide it over. There you go. And once you have it in, that's it. It's going to pop in that easy. So next thing we're going to do, once we have the door panel off here, to remove this mirror, is what we got to focus in is the harness right now. And I have not even looked at this yet, so I have no idea what's in store right now. So what I'm going to do is do a little bit of investigation here. I don't think there's going to be too much involved. I'm almost thinking that might be the harness leading up to there. Not sure yet. So give me a minute here. I'm going to try and pop that fir tree out, and I'm almost going to guarantee that that's what it is. I think that that tree is holding it on there, and I think that will disconnect my mirror. So let me hit pause here for a second. We'll be right back. Okay, so from what I can gather, this is the harness that is running up to the harness, to the mirror here. So what I'm going to do is take my little tool right here. I got this one, I was telling you guys, from LMR. You can also get a very similar one from Harbor Freight, Lowe's, Home Depot, I'm sure any type of hardware store. And what I'm going to do is try and just remove this so I have a little bit easier access. So I'm going to do this on camera and just kind of see how it goes. And I don't think it's going to be that difficult. So let's, hopefully I can keep the camera steady. I'm just going to slide right behind it and just kind of wiggle it out. There we go. That's it. So not much to that. And hopefully the harness should drop down. And that, I can see that is it, because as I'm pulling, the one up top here is moving as well. So let's do that. Let's disconnect that. You can see it doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot here. Little tab there. I think that's going to be about it. This is just our fir tree. So, well, let me do that. I'm going to need two hands for this. So I'm going to have to hit pause again. All right, guys. So I got that disconnected. To be honest with it, that took a little bit of wiggling. No more than 2 minutes though, because anytime I've been pausing here, I have not really went any longer than 2 minutes. So this is almost in real time, give or take. So let's see what happens here. I'm going to try and remove the mirror now that I have those two 9mm nuts off there. So let's see what happens. I might have to feed this through, but I'm just going to wiggle it a little bit. And you guys are seeing this for the first time just as well as I am. So I'm going to grab the mirror here, kind of wiggle it gently, and okay, it looks like it broke free. And I'm going to come around to the inside here and just try and be careful and feed this through. So sorry if the video quality, it looks like, you know, it looks like there's a little grommet there. So yeah, there's a little grommet right here. So I'm going to have to use two hands for this. So hold up for a second. All right, guys, I'm back. That literally took like 2 seconds to remove that. So I'm just going to kind of, oh, sorry about that. I'm just going to kind of shake it out here. Yeah, that grommet basically pulled right off here. And I just really need to, looks like pull that electrical connector through. So hold on, you might lose a little video here for a second. I'm going to need 2 hands for this. And voila, there it is. So, with that being said, that is how you remove the mirror on your 87 to 93 Mustang. I know it also applies to probably the 79 through 86 as well. However, I don't know if they were equipped with power mirrors, and this is coming from someone who had an 86, but I know my 86 did not. It had the little knob for adjustment. So at this point, installation is going to pretty much be the exact same way. Passenger side will be the same way as well. So hopefully this helps you guys out, because I looked for a while and I had no videos on how to remove this other than an 86, and it did not have any type of power mirrors. So as I said, I hope this helps you out. If you like the video, subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I'll have some more little tips and tricks for you guys. So take care and have a good one.